And good afternoon. Well, it's afternoon here. I don't know what time it is when you're watching. But here we have a lovely slice, agate slice. And as you can see, there's a little bit of see-through there. It's got very uneven edges, So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to do a netted bezel. So what I first need to do is get the frame length. So here's part of the frame. So I've got to there would be about the back. So I'm going to double that, which makes it right about there. No, down a little further. Yeah, right about there. Yeah, I'm a good teacher for those of you who don't use rulers to measure. Rulers and I just don't get along. And it's because I have numerical dyslexia. And what does that mean? That means that I frequently reverse my numbers when I'm looking at them. Nothing I can do to change it. I've gotten a little bit better, but I was originally planning on a field of, working in the field of accounting. Not such a great thing with numerical dyslexia. I tried managing a couple of stores and yeah, it worked out to be a really bad situation. Okay, so I am lining up with the bottom and I'm taking my frame wire, and what that silver thing that I had just put up is actually my pounding block for my hammer. You'll see why I need that in a second here. Okay, all the way down and then pinch. So that is the size of the outside of this. So now I take my little pounding block and I hold the two pieces together and hold them down. And now I'm going to just flatten out. I'm not hitting hard or anything, but I want to flatten it and harden it. And that is what hitting does, flattening and hardening. And if you just do a whole bunch of little light taps, it does more hardening than it does flattening. Oops, that turned. There we go. Why is turning a bad thing? Because once you've got a flattened thing, you have a certain edge to it. It's like working with square wire. You need it to look a certain way. Okay, now, or at least I like it to look a certain way. I mean, if you decide you like it, don't care what it looks like in that spot, then that's fine with me. Why am I bringing it back? I don't know if you can see in the camera right there, but right there is not flattened like it should be. It's not even with the rest of it. So there we do. Just a few little taps on there. Now, I think we are even everywhere else. Don't mind if my voice is a little bit growly. I'm fighting off a cold. Doing pretty good though. I tend to keep my vitamins up and all that sort of stuff. Okay, resize it, make sure it still fits okay. Now I want this part to be a little bit more straight than it is. And then this part is going to bend more. Yeah, that's better. That's way better. It actually kind of fits on the edge. Alright, now you see those two pieces are uneven there? Well, I may or may not trim them later. I may just use this part to wrap around this part. It all depends on how I do the bail when I'm done. And I already pulled out approximately 1.5 full arm spans or 2 single arm spans of, what is this, 30 gauge? Yeah, 30 gauge wire. Don't go anything lower than 30 gauge because, woo, I just dropped my frame. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm a clumsy type. Anything lower than 30 gauge and it's not going to have the heft you need to keep stuff in. Now, I just did my normal thing of give it a couple of twists with the base with the main wire and with the little tail sticking out, and then I start coiling my tail around until it's kind of little. I'm going to start right at the sorry, I've got a bit of a tangle here. Getting distracted, can't talk while I'm doing it. Okay, so while I untangle my wire here, so this is the only issue with taking it off of the spool. But you can't do netting on the spool, just like you can't do Viking knit on the spool. And as long as you are gentle, wire likes to move slowly. You can't move wire quickly and expect it to work. So, first net side. See, we're going to be netting one side, then we're going to flip it over and net the other. And both sets of netting, sorry, bumped the tripod, have to be up high enough to hold over there. So the approximate spot where I want the frame to sit is approximately in the middle, like, can we see it? There it is. Approximately there. So you want netting to go up and down at the same time, but of course you have to do each step individually. So, first piece of netting. So we want that. I like to go pull it through instead of sewing it through. Ooh, sorry. Bump my camera. Now, I am going to do a fairly large net for this one because it has a very interesting pattern. So that means I really don't want to cover the pattern up. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing a netting bezel instead of any other kind of bezel I could do. Okay, the next one I'm going to do slowly so you can see it better. But you want your netting loops to be approximately the same size, as close as possible to the same size. So, big loop, push underneath, pull through. Don't pull too hard. If you get a snag, you don't want to keep pulling. And if you pull really hard, you might catch and grab your frame. Now, whoops, get back here. Now, see how I'm pulling like that? And that action makes those loops approximately the same size. That one is a tiny bit too big. There we go. And again. And pull slowly, not too fast. Especially with this little stuff. This little stuff work hardens and gets brittle really quickly if I'm not careful. Come on. There we go. What I was doing there was just, there was a bit of a point in that loop and I was just taking it out with my nail. Yeah, you can tell which nail I use the most for pushing wire, can't you? Same on this hand. I'm ambidextrous, so I actually use both my hands for this. I do write with my right hand, but that is because I haven't really practiced writing with my left hand past finding out if I could do it. I can write legibly with my left hand. I just don't do it very often, so it's not that great. Oh, that one is now too small. So I'm going to do this trick of pushing the wire back down, making the bottom of the loop bigger, and then pulling up just a tiny bit, and that makes the loop a little bigger on the top. So back through again. Sorry, keep smacking my camera. And there we go. And back through again. Sorry. Yep, I'm Canadian. I say sorry for everything. Or at least that's the stereotype, right? Now, back through again. Sorry. That's got to be hard on the eyes to watch. Okay. Now, As you can see, I'm holding down these loops with this hand. So, because if not, they'll slide back and forth all over the place while I'm doing this. So I always hold them down, and I like to put just my finger like that, and then this here, and then just my thumbnail on the right on that join right there, if you can see where my thumbnail's going. And then that keeps my knitting from getting all twisted and weird as I'm working. Oh, believe me, that has happened so many times. I had to devise a way to not have that happen. Now, back down again. Oops, this one's too big. Going around a corner with netting is a bit of a pain. And we have a point again. If I can push it down with my nail, make it nice and rounded. Okay, well, I'll compensate for that on the second row. I'm probably only going to do 2 rows on the top and 2 rows on the bottom. And I will take a video of doing the top, but I'm not going to, well, maybe I should do the bottom on the video too. It's going to make it a really long video because netting is a labor-intensive process. It's not that difficult to do once you have figured out the tricks that work for you, but it is difficult to do until then, because you really do have to make sure your loops are a fairly consistent size or they don't really work right and they look all twisted and funny when you're done your knit. Right now it just looks like loops, but you'll see what I mean about how it looks like a net. What the heck happened there? Give it a couple of little tweaks with my pliers. There we go. Now, as you get closer to here, it's going to be harder to keep your wire on the wire as you're doing the pull-through technique like I do. So I may actually switch to the sewing with wire style technique once I get closer. No, that needs to be just a little bit smaller. Yeah, I was right. Almost too small now. See, these ones are kind of bigger. These, okay, that's better. Lots of fiddling and adjusting with netting. It is not one of those quick and easy ones. Well, it is one of those quick and easy ones once you get good at it. But practice makes perfect. I have been doing strictly wire pretty much for about 3 years straight now, and my goal has been to produce 1 piece a day. How do you get good quick? Volume. You keep making mistakes and learning from them. That is how you get good quick. And quick is a relative term. I don't think there's any way, barring massive amounts of natural talent, to get really good. Whoa, you see that? It just about slipped off the end there. Okay, I'm going to have to hold that one down too, apparently. Okay, barring massive amounts of natural talent, getting good quick, pardon me while I get my words mixed, doesn't happen. You have to practice. That's the same in music, that's the same in sports, it's the same in pretty much any field. To get good, you have to practice. And I'm getting a little tangle of wire here going on. And you may notice that I really only pull with like the first couple of inches of the wire. That's because pulling work hardens, turning work hardens, everything work hardens your wire. And if you are not careful, yeah, this is going to need the sewing part now. I'm not going to be able to do just the pull through like I like to do. If you're not careful with your wire, you will snap it. And believe you me, it is a pain in the patootie to snap something at like this stage when I've already gone all the way around. I have had to take things apart and redo them because I work hard in my wire and I wasn't paying attention and I snapped it in the middle of a weave. It's like, dude, come on now. But that's okay. I recovered. And one more of the resilient, I am resilient, yes. One more of the sewing technique. And, oh, see, it is trying to, yeah, it did too. I'm going to do the pull through, but I'm going to hold on to the end while I do the pull through. And I use all of my fingers when I am wiring, weaving, and I hit the camera again, sorry. Why do I use all of my fingers? Because this is kind of an all of my fingers kind of job. Now, what am I doing here? This is deciding the spacing of the frame. Because now is when I decide how far apart the frame bail wires need to be. And it's about there. This is important because this is the next level I'm working on now. In some times I take this and I would do the bail itself from this, but I'm not, because I'm just going to do a, what would you call it, similar to a coil bail, where I'm not going to weave the bail, I'm just going to coil it around a couple times, or even I might make a twisted bail, I haven't decided yet. But once you get to this point, your only option is the sewing action. So, I don't know if you saw what I just did there, but sorry, I'm kind of paying attention to what I'm doing and not talking about it. This is why I don't always do a bunch of tutorials all the time, because I may be quick and I may be good, but talking while I'm working is a completely different story. Okay, this is a common problem with netting. It wants to stay in that big loop. So what I have to do is I have to pull on the side that will make the big loop smaller while not pulling too tight. I'm just gradually pulling it down. It's trying to get stuck on these things. Now, it doesn't really want to go. It wants to just tighten up the loop. Right here, it wants to tighten up that loop and not that part. So I am spending my time adjusting it in small, slow movements, so that, because if you move too fast with wire, you will not get the result you are looking for. Come on. Ugh. Just looks like a giant jumble right now, but believe me, it'll look good in a sec here. You know what I think happened? I think I had a loop go off of that, but that's okay. I will keep adjusting. And that one, it's a good thing this is a back. That doesn't look very good at all. What is going on here? Is it like twisted or something? It shouldn't be twisted. I did it the way I normally do it. And now I just pulled too hard on that. Recoil it back up a tiny bit. Okay, let's redo this one. Oh, come maybe I can save it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it like this and redo it. Open like that. And pull through the big part. And then I'm just going to go and cheat and go around like that to make the little grabbing loop. Pull through the big part again. That's not how you're supposed to do it, but it looks like that's how that particular piece is working. It's not going to be a clean net. Not like I like, but that's okay. Now, come on. There we go. We're going through and then taking that little bit and pulling up. And as you can see, it's trying to go beside the piece, but I'm not letting it. Every time it tries to curl up, I uncurl it. There's some lovely marked wire now from trying to fix from before. And we have this little doohickey here. Can't pull too hard or I'm going to snap the wire. Tighten up that little loop a little bit. And then we go back to, oh boy, come on. There we go. Got the end again. I'm still holding down the coils as I go. See what I mean about ambidextrous? I just switched from right hand to left hand. I'm sorry if that doesn't work for you. You could hold it this way and continue going like you were before by flipping it over. I don't need to do that because my hands work both directions with both hands. And through and up. And that creates the loop. And that is too small. I'm just turning it with my pliers a little bit so I can pull it out. Grabbing it with my nail. That's still too small. You see that? Turn it out just a little bit more. And what's going on here? There we go. That's the right size. And what I was doing there is I was pulling my wire backwards to get to the end of it. I have nice long arms, so that works well for me. Ooh, now my wire is trying to coil around the tripod when I let go. Lovely. Yeah, this wonderful little tangle of wire. And slowly pull it down until it gets to where you want it to be. And back again. Oops, dropped it. Sorry. Oh, come on. And got it. In and up and grab. And a little bit tighter, but not too much. See, that's a weird looking one, which means that I got to make this one still even just a tiny bit more tighter. There we go. Find the end of the wire. Through and up. And then slowly I don't know if you saw those coils that were forming as I was pulling, but if I had been pulling fast, those things would have most definitely become kinks. Speaking of kinks, I have one there and one there. So even pulling slowly, you get kinks, but it's much worse when you do it fast. Usually because you can't even tell it hasn't happened, or you can't even tell it's happened until after it's happened when you're going fast. Okay, what's going on here? I didn't go around there twice. Oh, it twisted. Uh-huh. And a little bit more tight. Oh, my nail is dirty. Yeah. Cleaned them before I got ready to do the video, but apparently I missed something. And I have to compensate for those little kinks now. And pull that tight. That's still surviving, right? Yeah, that looks like that's still surviving. And find the end. At 2 arm spans is going to do around or 2 single arm spans, not both of my arms wide, is going to do around twice for sure with netting, but I'm probably going to have to cut and attach some more for the top. And I am working with kinky wire. So, kinky wire doesn't want to do what it's told. Yeah, I could make some interesting comments with that one, but I will spare the YouTube viewers my really interesting sense of humor with that one. And here we go. Come on. There we go. And find the end again. Back through. And oops. Haha, I pulled it out. I love it when you do that. Pull slowly. And I'm going to stop this now. And that is the basic. That's the second level. That's the thing. My phone's going to cut it off in a second anyways. But I'll come back when I've got the bezel all the way up to here, and I will show you how I do the top layer. Okay. Hey, I'm back. So, when I was away and finishing this, I actually, see if I can get the camera to focus on it. Yeah, there it is. I actually did the netting all the way up, and as you can see, when I finished, I went across there, then up to here, and then did a little coil to finish. So I should have showed that part to you, but then I kind of got involved in it and forgot. So the next step with this is I'm taking it and I'm slipping it over the edge of the stone. And why I'm doing this is because I'm also pressing down with my thumbs and I'm shaping the netting around the edge of the stone, because this isn't a flat stone, so I have to shape everything as I'm going. So me and my plier fingers are just pressing down on stuff. And making sure all the shapes are what they should be. Looks like I got a loose piece there. So, now that that is done, I'm going to start out my wire. See, this is what I was using. I get my stuff from Art Beads because I'm in Canada, and there's many other places I have gone to that either have really ridiculous shipping to Canada or don't ship to Canada at all, and Art Beads does for $1.99. So I tend to use them just for the simple fact that $1.99 shipping really works for me. And I don't know if you can see what I did there. I'm just, instead of doing the sewing action, just doing that thing where I make a coil and then with a tail and then take the tail and put it back around. I'm going to have to tighten it up though. Because it's not really working. Not tightened. So, just squish and twist. It sounds like a new dance. There we go. So, same idea as starting out before, except I can't push through. I have to do the sewing action. As you can see, I'm going through there because I kind of want them to sit side by side. It will in a sec as soon as I pull it tight. Oops, that loop is too small. There we go. Maybe they're going to sit in the middle. Anyways, I have to get to the end of my wire. And through there. Grab and pull. And I'm sorry if my voice is a little quieter on this one. It is the middle of the night and people are sleeping. And I was sleeping, but I'm not anymore. My brain goes, hey, you need to finish that. So I don't get to sleep. And back to the end of the wire. Grab. Pull slowly to ensure you don't get any kinks. Oh, I decided to kink. I spoke too soon. Okay, there we go. Now, go to the end of the wire. And through there. Now, when we get to the end of this row, it's actually going to be really tricky because then I have to put the stone in and do netting with the stone in. That is not easy. Not even remotely. What the heck is going on here? Why is this not working? There we go. And we have a kink. I'm going to pull that under. Maybe. Do. Well, I'm not sure what's going on here. think it went around the outside too. That's the problem. I just take that loop out. Yep, that was exactly what it was. And went around twice, and going around twice doesn't work so well. It actually creates a knot and not the netting. Haha, not a knot. Ha. Okay, yes, I'm even sillier at night than I am during the day. And there we go. And tight, but not too tight. That wire is a little bit... I'm just giving it tiny little, not too hard of taps, squeezes, whatever you want to call it, just to straighten that wire out a little bit. Because, oh, look at that lovely little mess there. Now we get to pull very slowly, and it made itself out. Good, good, good. Now, find the end of your wire again, and grab and pull slowly. I'm stuck on something. Oh, I'm stuck on my tripod. There we go. The joys of wire. It likes to wind around anything it can. Now it's wound around some other wire. There we go. And this right here is what grabbed the other wire as I was pulling it away. Fixed. Through there. Pull it over. Make sure this one's in the back. And it's trying to kink up again. Oh look, it did kink up. Let's just... So I'm giving it a reverse twist and then pulling a little bit, but not so much that I harden the wire. And another kink. Look at that. See, it happens even before you realize it sometimes. Wire's tricky that way. And back to the end of the wire. And slow pull. Nice and even. And that one ended up too big, so I'm doing that push the loop down, pull it over thing again. And this is going to be the top, so I'm being a lot more attentive to the finish of my loops than I was with the back. I mean, the back looks fine, but there's a couple of messy ones like there. That wire is a little bit messy. I don't really care on either side, actually, because this is such fine wire. Nobody's going to notice. But, yeah. So, there we go. Look at that, almost all the way to the bottom already. I'm trying to do most of this right-handed for the right-handed people. You just do it backwards for the left-handed people. There's the end. And up. Here we go. Oops, look at that. It's kinked up already. It sure likes to do that. And find the end. Whoa, dude. That's not very good. Oh boy. Yeah, I just flipped my camera off the tripod. That was fun. It's quite the little experience. So here I am finding the end of my wire again. And going through the next loop. Pulling through slowly on the wire. Look at this lovely little link thing that's trying to happen. It's trying to be a kink. I didn't let it. Okay, so finding my wire end again. This lovely laborious process of knitting. And here we go. Find the end again. Through there. Sorry, out of camera again. Still got that bad habit of looking at my piece and not looking at my piece through the viewfinder. There we go. I'm shaping the loops as I go as well, and I'm still holding them down like I normally do. And there we go. Through there. Pull up slowly. What's going on here? I don't get it. Of course. What happened was I pulled it. You know how you're seeing me pull it under the back wire every time? Well, that time I didn't. I pulled it over the back wire. So I actually had to fix it. So it was going under the back wire again. Because when it goes over the back wire, it doesn't sit right if all the rest are going under. Come on. There we go. See? Under. And the joys of maneuvering long pieces of wire. But it is certainly easier than cutting and attaching more wire every time to work with a longer one. I could do it that way. There'd be coils every once in a while along the edge. Maybe one of these times I'll do one like that so that people who don't want to work with a long, easily tangled piece of wire will know how to do netting as well. Yeah, sounds like an idea. So we are continuing along up the side, and lovely little kinks. And there we go. darn thing. I think the next time I do this, I'm going to turn music on so you don't have to listen to silence. Unless people like listening to silence while I try and do this. And oh, look at this. Look at that. It's trying to catch on to itself. There we go. And the kink. I keep thinking I've fixed it, but then I keep going and not fixing it. You're seeing me use the push the loop trick a lot in the last little bit here. And let's find that kink and fix it. There it is. Give it one squish that direction, one squish that direction. There we go. Oh, there's another one. Got it. Okay, so find the end of the wire again. Put it through there. Make sure the back one's over. And it's already trying to kink up again. Darn wire. Darn it. And, oh boy. It got stuck. And shoot. As I dump a tray. Don't mind me. That was me seeing if I could cut my own jump rings for chainmail, and they're okay, but I think I'm going to be buying them, not trying to cut them. Uses up a lot of wire, that's for sure. End up having to buy wire soon if I do it that way. What's going on here? There, we want it behind that one. There we go. Pull slowly. What's going on? There we go. And yeah, that's going to be one more. Now, here's where it gets a little bit tricky, because I actually have to join into here too. So I'm going to go through here and behind. Oops. And this guy, of course, wants to not work properly. Come on. Slide. It's not that hard to slide. Oops. Of course I'm pulling the wrong side. Goodness. There we go. Now it's not tangled. And did we go around twice? I think we may have gone around twice. Yep. Okay. So this is going to be the last loop on this side. And it doesn't need to be super big because it's going around a corner, sorry. And now comes the kind of interesting part. Find the end of my wire. And I'm going through this one here. Ah, goodness. Sorry. This is what happens when you have your camera set up on elastics. Focus. There we go. Yes, I have my camera, or my phone, elasticed to the tripod because it's a phone and it doesn't have a little screw-in thingy. And I can't remove the little screw-in thingy. So now is the point where we put this in. So I'm going to pop it into the frame. See, it goes up part of the way there. And push, 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 push. It's sitting a little lower than I planned when I first did it, but it'll work. That one is going over, and that is going out. Find the end of my wire. And now, this lovely jumble here, I'm going to hold it down, slide this guy right under here. Getting a bit of a frog in my throat. Gonna have to lift it. Yep. No, still missed. There we go. Now, just about knocked my phone off again. And there we go. That was me pulling it down, and I'm holding it down as I go through the loop, pulling slowly to try and hopefully catch these sort of things while they are trying to happen, and fix them before they become full-fledged kinks. Okay, holding this one down, pulling this one tight. And find the end of my wire again. And up through, come on, up through there. Down slowly. Ooh, trying to kink. It likes to twist while you're pulling a lot. Okay, and what's going on here? That one didn't net. It just kind of looped. Okay, well now you get to see how to undo a loop. Because I gotta fix that. And I'm just pulling from the back here a little bit until I can get my fingers in there. Because the least amount of tool work you can do, the better. And what did I do? Oh, I betcha I didn't go behind. And now it doesn't want to go down. Come on. I don't want to pull too hard on this because I'm going to break it if I do. And that would really suck. Breaking it at that point? Oh boy. What's going on here? Okay, so pull the loop down and looks like I might have to do another level of this. Well, maybe not. We'll find out when I get all the way there. I may have to do another one. Okay. Pulling tight, but not too fast. And here we go. Hold that one down. Back to the end of my wire. Oh boy. Spring. What happened here? Oh my goodness. Oh, come on. And back to the end of my wire. Okay, kink time. Gotta deal with that. There we go. Whew, there it is. Through that loop, if I can get it through, there we go. And the reason I'm turning it and pulling down is so that it always has the same direction on the loop. Except there's a bunch of kinks. Holy. Okay. Finding the end of the wire. And here we go. Ooh, boy. It just does not want to cooperate, does it? How do I fix that one? Oh, there's part of it. That's quite a little thing I've got going there. And there we go. See? Persistence. Okay, so I'm going to finish the rest of the way and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back and I've pulled and knitted and put it all the way up to here. So I want you to see what I'm going to do with the top here. I'm back through this one last piece of knitting. And still have kinks to deal with, of course. Just a matter of making them, wiggling them past the bad point. And, of course, pulling slowly, like always. There we go. So, actually going to go on to the next one, which I would normally be doing if I were going up a row, but because of the uneven shape of this one, I'm going to go through here. Come on, there we go. And slowly, oops, see, that's one of the reasons why I do it slowly. It was trying to get over the top there. Pull, and I'm just going to go back and through under this one right here, except I'm going to have to use my pliers to grab that wire because it's an uneven edge, so I can't just slide it up. Of course, the little pieces are going to be even harder to deal with now, but we will deal with it. I don't want to go back under like I did with the last one, so I just want to go around a little bit. And then down to the edge. There we go. Sorry. Keep bumping it. And now to go up and up. I'm going to go at least 3 times around. You know what